Everyone will be surprised today when I say that the real goal of this war in Iran is not Iran nor the Iranian regime. The real goal is the destruction and weakening of Saudi Arabia. And this decision was made exactly on March 10th, 2023, which means we're talking about 3 years ago from today. How is that? And why do I say this exactly? This is our topic for today. Stay with us. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome to our program today in this new episode, God willing, from the series of Opinion Now episodes, dear viewers. And after the first 24 hours from the start of this war, the features of the American-Israeli plan began to appear, and the outlines of the scenarios that could define the main scene of this war started to become clear. So now, after the assassination of the Iranian leader Ali Khamenei, President Trump probably feels a sense of excitement and great joy, as if he has achieved a major accomplishment, of course. But despite that, up until this moment, the war has not yet achieved its main objective, which is the overthrow of the Iranian regime, and it has not yet accomplished the intended goal. And even with the result of the first strike, the goal was to assassinate all the political and military leaders at the same time. Therefore, it is clear now, in light of the failure at the beginning of the strike and the success in assassinating the Iranian supreme leader, that America is now moving to implement the second phase of this war, even though the first phase has not yet ended. The first phase aimed to neutralize the political and military leaders at the same time, or to intimidate them into surrendering and defecting from the Iranian regime. The goal of this is to leave the country in disarray without leadership, thus making it easier to move into the second phase. This second phase has now begun. What is this phase? It involves striking and stripping Iran of its air defense systems and radars, targeting security installations, and hitting military facilities spread across the northern territories of Iran, specifically the border areas with Turkmenistan. And with Azerbaijan, we're talking about countries where there are American special forces. So, when the aggression achieves the results it wants in this second phase, the third phase of this war will begin. This third phase will be exactly about stirring up an internal crisis in Iran, igniting a new wave of protests inside Iran, and thus taking advantage of the opportunity. The fifth column comes out to carry out acts of sabotage, possibly armed ones. This fifth column, which may still be present inside Iran, and may also be brought in through the land borders with Azerbaijan or with Turkmenistan, and this could possibly involve targeting economic facilities in order to facilitate chaos internally and confuse the Iranian regime. Of course, there is also the possibility of military defections appearing as well. This is exactly the plan of America and Israel. If we reach this stage, then we will see the fourth phase of this war. The American special forces deployed in Azerbaijan or Turkmenistan would intervene to take control of some Iranian state facilities. Then, after that, the announcement of appointing the son of the former Shah of Iran as president for the transitional period. Trump wants to achieve all of this within a time frame not exceeding 4 days, and at most 1 week. America wants to settle things as quickly as possible. They set this first timeline at 4 days and the second timeline at 1 week. If America does not succeed in achieving this scenario within these specified time periods, things will gradually deteriorate. Things will become very difficult and impossible, and the war will definitely stop at that point. Because the thing that everyone needs to know is that starting from tomorrow, Monday, things will start to change inside America. There will be strong moves within the US Congress to stop this war, and there will be a lot of pressure. It's just a matter of time. So all these plans, up until now, are just plans on paper. Will they succeed or not? Things are very complicated for me. Iran has prepared for this war and has prepared for such scenarios and has set up a ready list for leadership in case he is assassinated. And it knows these plans very well, it knows these time frames, and it knows what is coming inside the United States. So it has also set up ready plans to counter any possible defection. Now, as everyone can see, it is gradually increasing the pace of its response. And Iran, up to this moment, according to official statements, has not yet used its strategic missiles. It says that everything you see today is from the old worn-out stockpile, as if it is getting rid of this stockpile. Some of them hit their targets, we've seen that, and some are just depleting the American and Israeli defensive missiles. Therefore, there are still very big surprises that this war will reveal. And what everyone needs to know today is that the Iranian regime will not fall in this war unless the entire region is completely destroyed. So today, even if we head toward the scenario where all these American and Israeli plans succeed, if we assume that all these plans are carried out successfully, will there be security in the region? Absolutely not. Why do I say this? Because we're talking about a regime that has a very large popular base in Iran. We're not talking about a regime that's hated internally. We're not talking about a regime that's collapsing from within. We're talking about a regime with a very large popular base. It's built on ideology, and it even extends to all the countries in the region. We're talking about people, about fighters who have a strong ideology. So the idea is that if America and Israel succeed in carrying out these plans, there will be no security in Iran at all, and there will be no security in the Arabian Gulf region. The country will enter into internal conflict and it will destroy the entire region. Iran will be divided into conflict zones, maybe 4 different areas within Iran, and the least we might see is the emergence of resistance. At that point, we will see a strong group or groups in the region, like the Houthis in Yemen. I mean, if the Houthis in Yemen are overlooking the Bab al-Mandab Strait, then this group at that time will be overlooking the Gulf countries. Just imagine with me how the scene will look then. There are tens of millions of people inside Iran. They will never accept to be under American occupation or under Israeli occupation, or to be under the leadership of a rejected and traitorous figure like the son of the former Shah. The region will inevitably enter into internal conflict, and the parties that will suffer from this are the Arab countries in the region, the most important of which is Saudi Arabia. The real Israeli goal is not Iran. The real goal is to destroy the region. They want to keep these countries, the countries of the region, preoccupied in order to form the map of Greater Israel. To create this map, do they see that it is necessary to destroy or weaken this country? As for Saudi Arabia, the decision to overthrow the Iranian regime was taken exactly on March 10, 2023. Why? That day? The day when reconciliation between Iran and Saudi Arabia took place? With mediation from China? That day was a dark day for Israel. It was the day when Israeli strategies changed, and it was the day they decided that it was necessary to change the Iranian regime, or that it was time to change the Iranian regime. Because before this agreement, there was the war in Yemen, where Saudi Arabia was exhausting its military capabilities, and there was great tension between Iran and Saudi Arabia. That tension, at any moment, could have escalated into a devastating war. But after the agreement and reconciliation, the war in Yemen stopped. The escalation and tension between Iran and Saudi Arabia ceased, and there was progress in the relationship between 2 Islamic powers. Pay close attention to this point. This is impossible for Israel. Israel cannot accept this. So what did it do? It said that the Iranian regime must end, that the time has come for that, because it is no longer playing the role they want. The destruction of Iraq, the destruction of Lebanon, the destruction of Saudi Arabia, and so on, and creating tension with the Arab countries. Now it has become a friend to Iraq and a friend to Saudi Arabia, especially since this reconciliation was mediated by China. So here, the decision was decisive and necessary, to the extent that they even convinced America that the Iranian regime must go, because China is expanding its influence in the region. So today, if we look at the map, we find that tension surrounds Saudi Arabia in almost every direction. And wherever there is this tension, we find Israel there, for example, in the Red Sea. The conflict in Sudan, we see the tension happening in the Horn of Africa region between Somalia, Somaliland, and Ethiopia. And we see Yemen, southern Yemen, and the failed plan that was just a few weeks ago, so now what is left? Iran remains. They say Iran must be destroyed and turned into a zone of conflict and tension, so that it becomes a threat to Saudi Arabia. This is the real plan. And today, it is impossible to topple the Iranian regime and guarantee that security will return to Iran, or that security will return to the region at all after the fall of this Iranian regime. So today, I say that this war is a war for survival. It is a completely different war. It is a war that targets the region by sea. At the same time, it is very difficult to achieve this Trumpian goal or this plan. Trump got involved in this war, and the results will be catastrophic. So now we will see how developments will unfold in the coming hours or in the next few days. I mean, when this period of 4 days or a week ends, we will see. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the button. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. See you next time.